Hi hearties, welcome back to Teacup Trail. We are on episode 2 of season 9 of Whencallstheheart. If you missed the first episode review, there are part 1 and part 2 links in the description below. I highly recommend you to check them out first before continuing on to episode 2 review in this video. I hope you've been enjoying the Teacup Trail. Thank you for your support and patience along the way. There is a lot of things that happened in episode 2, and feel free to share your thoughts, your opinions, and prediction on what's going to happen next after this episode. But I hope you enjoyed this one as well. Let's get started.
There's been an accident. It's Nathan.
Well, way to kick off the episode. Well, we already knew that Nathan was going to be in a bad accident, but here we are, Lucas, driving over to Elizabeth's house in the morning, and the first thing he said, there had been an accident, and Elizabeth okay, what happened? Who was it? And when Lucas said Nathan's name, I can sense that there were a lot of thoughts rushing into her mind in that moment, and she knows that Nathan, first of all, Nathan is the father to Allie, but he is also the Mountie, the protector of Hope Valley, and knowing Nathan being in an accident, that just bring a lot of fears, and I assume a lot of flashbacks of her experiences with Jack.
Elizabeth!
How badly is he hurt?
Well, he made it through the night, and Faith said that's very encouraging.
Thankful Allie isn't here. This would be too upsetting for her.
You know if anyone got a description of the car that hit him?
One witness thought it was a black sedan.
There must be front-end damage.
How's Newton?
He's hurt, but hopefully he'll be all right.
I'm heading to Jameson for a look around. I have one man riding to Buxton, another to Benson Hills.
I'll head to Union City.
Yeah.
Lucas, thank you.
Episode 1 of season 9, we got a taste of the friendship between Nathan and Elizabeth and Lucas, and see where they were at in regard to the love triangle. There was some good awkwardness, positive vibes, especially between Nathan and Lucas. I really like how Lucas was supportive of Elizabeth in this scene, and supported and respected Elizabeth's friendship with Nathan. It just shows how caring and how nice he is as a gentleman. He is really a gentleman, and he does have a really good heart for everyone in Hope Valley. He stood with Elizabeth throughout this scene as Rosemary explained what happened, and when Bill came over and told them more information, Lucas even offered to go on a search to see if he can find the heart that hit Nathan. At the end, you can see Elizabeth and Lucas holding hands and just giving each other some comfort before they said their goodbyes. It's really nice of Lucas just to be there for Elizabeth. He was the one that told her the news. I mean, it could be someone else, and Lucas could have drove Elizabeth over to the infirmary and just left her there, but he stood next to her all the way through, and that's just a very sweet and supportive boyfriend.
Faith said you better come inside.
I want to focus on that facial expression of Elizabeth at the end of that clip. You can see the nerves built inside of her. She is nervous to go inside the infirmary, and it's really interesting. The first time I watched, I was like, okay, why is she getting this visitor privilege to go see Nathan? But we eventually find out why. But that look on her face, to me, it's okay, so this is the second major scare that she had associated with Nathan. Remember that moment, the end of season 7, she ran up to Nathan and hugged him so tightly, and Lucas saw that and he got jealous. That was the major scare that she had with Nathan. And now the second time, she's like, oh boy, like, here we go again. At least he's not dead, but she doesn't know what to expect on the body condition of Nathan once she goes inside that infirmary. And I can tell that she started to think a lot of things, and I wouldn't be surprised if she had a flashback in her mind. And on top of that, the fears and the nervousness going inside. So this is like round 2 of having a mounting scare with Nathan, and she's just hoping that Nathan will recover soon enough. At the same time, it's just a lot of emotion for her, even though Nathan is just her friend, but her experiences with Jack in the past and having this here again with Nathan, yeah, that's a lot of emotion running high on her.
The good news is he doesn't seem to have any internal injuries. Most concerning is a brain concussion. Nathan will need to stay in bed quiet for at least a week. He was getting agitated, and he asked to see you. So, 2 minutes? Oh, and he may have some memory loss, especially about what's happened.
Nathan requested for Elizabeth to visit and see him, so that's the answer. You can see her facial expression while Faith was explaining what happened and how his condition is and the potential side effects of the accident, memory loss. I think that would be a really bad thing. But you can see Elizabeth was very concerned, worried. Just looking at Nathan injured like that, it's just something that you don't want to go through in life, like to anyone that you know in your life. Like, you don't want to see someone like that, especially back in the day. You know, medicine was limited, and thankfully Nathan survived.
Hi. You have us all worried.
Who are you?
Whoa. Nathan Grant.
That hurts to laugh.
That was not funny.
I don't want Allie to know about this. She's at her grandparents'. She's having fun. That's how it should be.
Fine.
I want you to check on Newton for me.
I was wondering if Nathan overheard Faith talking to Elizabeth about memory loss and took advantage of that and made a joke on it with Elizabeth. And when Nathan felt the pain again in his body, Elizabeth like, oh yeah, that's what you get when you mess with me. It's really nice to still see that sense of humor of Nathan and how he teases her here and there, that special bond that they have in their friendship. You can see Nathan trusts her, and I do want to say, like, Elizabeth, like, his #1 friend in Hope Valley, and he even talked about Allie, like, I don't want her to know, and Elizabeth respected that. And Newton, his horse, he knows that Elizabeth knows horses and she knows how to ride horses and all that, and he trusts her to take a look after his horse. So there's a lot of trust in the friendship.
I brought you some tea. In your new teacup.
From Hamilton.
My family had a sailboat just like that one, with red sails and a bell. We called her Safe Harbor.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have I mentioned what a lovely time I had in that air balloon yesterday?
You've also mentioned our bumpy landing thanks to yours truly.
All right. I believe I also made it perfectly clear just how impressed I was with your ability to pilot that balloon. But I really don't want to sound ungrateful.
But.
Because you always have such wonderful things for us to do.
But.
You don't always have to make such grand gestures to show that you care.
Small, thoughtful gestures can demonstrate the same sort of admiration. Like giving me this teacup.
You are a very fast learner.
Wow. I have the best teacher.
Attention!
Elizabeth gave Lucas another gift, and I really like how the teacup has a special meaning to her in her family life, and she shared that with Lucas, and I thought that was a very thoughtful and meaningful gift that she gave to Lucas. They talk about how their hot air balloon date went, how it ended. I thought that was a really nice touch from the writers telling the audience, telling the hearties how that date went. And then Elizabeth brought in another conversation topic about little gestures, little things. She basically wanted Lucas to know that he doesn't have to go big in the dates, in the moment that they have together. It doesn't have to be something that is time consuming or investing a lot of money in it. It just can be something simple like taking a walk, little gift like Elizabeth gave to Lucas. She just doesn't want him to feel burned out in impressing her and little Jack and the bigger things. The big things are important, but the little things are important as well in a relationship. And she's just kindly reminding Lucas that he can just be himself and that he doesn't have to go overboard in every date, in every moment that he has with Elizabeth as well as with little Jack. I think that's very important for Elizabeth to tell Lucas, especially early on in their relationship. But again, Lucas is a type of guy that's very romantic. He believes in the grand gestures, but I think he would take comfort in knowing that Elizabeth just told him that in this scene and just feel some relief, like, okay, like this woman doesn't expect much, like he doesn't feel heavy burden. He can just go with the flow, and then if he finds something small that he thinks that she would like, he would do it. And then she's still gonna do the grand gesture once in a while. I mean, I'm still expecting that, but that's who he is. But it's a really good conversation that they had in this scene. And as I just made a note, you can see that Elizabeth had her hand on Lucas' hip at the end of that scene. It's just really nice touch.
Hello.
Hi.
I came to walk you home.
Thank you.
This could be one of those little moments that I hope we can keep on sharing.
You realize that by pointing out the little moments, you do in fact make them big moments?
Do I? Well, regardless, I'm looking forward to having more time for all types of moments.
Lucas, I'm worried that you're going to regret getting out of the oil business. You're naturally competitive, and I can tell how much you enjoy being an entrepreneur. You don't have to do this just to make more time for Jack and me.
I've been thinking about this for a while. Henry was right. Oil business is relentless. And I have other plans, other interests.
Do you?
I do.
Have you told Henry that you plan on selling and not just bringing on a partner?
Right before Jerome Smith said he'd present the offer to his investors.
How'd he react?
He didn't hit me. So, you think I'm competitive?
I'll race you to the gas station. Here we go.
Alright, I feel like I'm gonna ramble on this scene, but a few things that pointed out to me the most is Lucas listened to Elizabeth. He took her advice. He granted her request to focus more on the little moments, the little gestures, instead of like every time that he go on a date with her, it had to be something grand. He acknowledged what she said, and he even like acknowledged it again when he told her in the scene, like, you know, hey, walking hand in hand to your home is like a little moment, like it counted as a little moment, and she's just like, okay, like you like you listen to me. And then she said, you know, like when you say out loud, like, you know, it become even a bigger moment. So Lucas is listening to her, and that's really important because relationships are two-way street, and when someone says something or request or desire something in a relationship, especially something important, the other partner should listen and try to make it work, right? Second, Elizabeth reached out for his hand and held his hands as they walked together. It's really nice to see that, especially after 3 seasons of waiting for them to be officially a couple, and seeing that happen in that scene in public, like being affectionate toward one another in public, is just really sweet. And then Elizabeth talked about Lucas and his career plans. Let me know if you think Lucas should stay as a business partner in the oil business. I think it was a great run for him in the oil business, but I can totally see him doing something else. He did say he had other plans, but Elizabeth is supportive of her boyfriend and just wants the best for him. And again, she giving him like a signal, like another note, like beside the little gestures, like I don't want you to quit your life just to be with me a little Jack more. Like I want you to have your own thing going on while being with me and being with little Jack. She still wants him to have that personal hobby, personal desires and dream that he wants to accomplish as himself. So she's just like, I don't want you to quit your dream or quit your job just because of us. Like, I want your intention to be pure and honest, and if you want to quit, step out the oil business for another career plan, yeah, I'm gonna support you on that. She just want to make sure that the reason Lucas is stepping down from the oil business is not because of her and little Jack. And I think it's really important for her to tell him that too, because Lucas can be that type of guy that want to meet every needs and desires and want that Elizabeth may have. Like he wants to impress her, like maximum. Like he just wants to impress her, like on a big level. And Elizabeth just trying to tone him down a little bit. I don't know if that's the right word. Like don't do things without being sure. And she doesn't want to be the reason why he not doing the oil business anymore. And then at the end, they were very playful and raced against one another to the gas station. It was really funny though. She picked the gas station because they were just talking about the oil business. But you can see that even though they have like some tough conversation, like at the end, like they can reverse it easily and do something fun or think about something happier or less stressful. You can see that they can balance the tough conversation with some fun things to do, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's a lot of tough conversation already for Elizabeth and Lucas together, but that is what relationship is like, and it's really nice. They are very open and honest about these important things that are going on in their lives.
I hope we're not in for another recount.
After a good night's rest.
And enumerating the ballots once more, we are confident that Hope Valley now has a duly elected mayor.
And the winner is Mayor Mike Hickam.
Huh?
I mean, way to go, Mike.
Mike? Where is Mike? Uh-huh. Already a lame duck.
Alrighty, I'm gonna stop it here. Part 2 will be up really soon. I really want to pull this up because the last episode, part 2, I had a teacup question in the comment section. I'll be doing that as a thing. I think it will be fun. So there will be another teacup question on part 2 review of episode 2 of season 9 in the next video. But the teacup question of episode 1 that I had is, who do you think should be the mayor of Hope Valley? I picked Lee. I think he will have been a great mayor. He already got the leadership skills. He knows Hope Valley. He knows what's best for the town of Hope Valley, and he's just a very lovable guy, and I think he would have been a great mayor. The reactions of the Hope Valley citizen in this scene at the announcement of the new mayor, that was my reaction. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, not to be rude to Mike Hickam and Fiona being his sidekick. It's just, I just don't see it, you know? The writers really picked him as the mayor. I do want to see some character growth development of Mike Hickam as the mayor. I think it would definitely bring him to a new level in his life that he never been to, and that he will learn more about himself. Being a mayor is a tough, challenging, huge responsibility, and I just don't see the personality of Mike Hickam matching the duties and the high stakes of being the mayor of Hope Valley. We shall see. I guess we need to give him a chance. But I was totally rooting for Lee. I wish he got it. But there might be another reason why he did not get chosen to be the mayor. We will talk about that in the next video. Feel free to jot down your comments, your prediction, anything about this first half of episode 2 in the comment section below. Feel free to just tell me. I would love to hear from you, and I will definitely do some shout out during season 9. I think that would be fun to do again. Thank you for your support and patience, and I'll see you very soon for part 2 of episode 2 of season 9.